Well, today I have decided, or this weekend I should say, I have decided that we are going to make some lasagna. So by the time I'm all done, I want it to look like the picture. So I've done this before, and the way I always start off with is I'm going to take the hamburger here, lean ground hamburger, and I am going to fry it up with some onion, but I'm going to cook it, half cook it, and then put the onion and the mushrooms in it. And right now I have my water boiling really good because I've had my stove going for about an hour and a half now, and the water is boiling really good. So as you can tell, the hamburger is starting to fry up right away. So yeah, so the way I like to do it is I like to time the hamburger sauce being ready with the noodles at the same time. So I'm not going to put the noodles in right now, but it's going to be very shortly, very shortly. I'm going to wait for the hamburger to cook a little bit more. I'm going to spice it up a little bit. And that's how we start a lasagna. So stay tuned. Well, alrighty everyone. The hamburger is cooking just beautifully. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to add some garlic powder. Fair bit of garlic powder. I'm going to add some pepper and a fair bit of pepper. Yeah, so I'm going to give that a little stir in. Yeah, so now I figured my hamburger is about half cooked, so this is the point where I'm going to add my mushrooms. And then my onions that I have pre-chopped up. So I'll give that a good stir in there without spilling any. Yeah, so I'm going to keep on stirring this up, making sure it's all cooked in there the way I like it. But I figure right now is a good time to start my noodles. So yeah, it is boiling really good in there. So my noodles are these things. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to put in the whole box. Yeah, so I'm going to let those noodles boil for about 20 minutes. And that's the second step to making lasagna, so stay tuned, everyone. Well, alrighty, everyone, so the hamburger is cooked up really good, and I've been going through it and really making it fine, so turn it into a really fine sauce. So now what I'm going to do is add this can of sauce. It is thick and zesty garlic and herb. So I like the fact that it's thick, and I'm not going to add any water to it, except what I'm going to do is I always like to get the last little bit out of the can, and this will actually evaporate off anyways. So give it a good swig around like that. Try not to make a mess. Oh, like I said, try not to make a mess, because, like I say, cooking off a wood stove is unlike cooking off any other kind of stove. I'll just show you how good this is looking. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take the fry pan and put it on the rocks and really just let it simmer down. I'll tell you, my noodles are about halfway there, so I'm about ready to grate some cheese and start putting it all together like a cake, like a double layer cake. But I'm also going to put some cottage cheese with some egg with it. So yeah, this should be pretty interesting making this cake here now. Well, alrighty, everyone. I've been working on grating up two different kinds of cheeses here, and what they are is a pizza cheese and a white cheddar cheese. So it's actually an old cheddar cheese, so it's really, really good tasty cheese, and mixed it all together. So my next step is actually to take this bowl here and put in this cottage cheese, which I'm going to need a fork or a spoon for the rest of this. Make sure I get it all in there. And then what I do have here is 2 eggs, which I'm going to put in there. And one other thing I have here is this Parmesan cheese. So we're going to open this up, and I'm going to add a fair bit of stinky cheese. So yeah, so I'm going to give this a good stir up here, and then my next step is to actually put it all together like a lasagna cake. So you could smell the stinky cheese in here too. And Another thing I like to do is to just add a little bit of pepper to this, just to give it a zing. And another thing I like to add here is a little bit of Cajun sauce, Cajun powder to my sauce. And I always, what's Brad's favorite ingredient is the original barbecue sauce. So just a little bit of that in there also helps thicken it up. Yeah, so now I'm going to give everything a little stir up, and then we're going to put it together. So stay tuned. Alrighty, everyone. So now I'm right at the point where I do believe I have everything all together, ready to make this pie. So the way I'm going to start off here is what I want to do is take a little bit of this butter here and just put a layer of butter in the bottom of this pot, just so the noodles don't stick to it. So then my next step, make sure this butter melts all in there all nicely. So the way I follow the instructions also is I look at the picture here and I see we're going to start with a layer of noodles first. And so this is a little bit bigger. What I'm going to do is I'm going to just go up the sides of the pot with it. Get some full pieces in here. Oh, a little bit hot. And little part pieces here. What else do we got in here? Oh, one more. So, and then my next step here is to start putting the sauce in it. We're going to put some sauce first, and just a little layer of sauce. Spread it out nice and evenly. Ding. And then what I'm going to do is add this pre-mixed cheese to it. Just a little layer of that. And then we're going to go with some more noodles here. And go the other way with it this time. And overlap the noodles a little bit. That's always one thing when I'm in a restaurant and I order lasagna, which I do. It's one of my favorite things to order. Is I do judge it about how much noodles are in it, because I always find that they cheap out on the noodles. So what we're going to do is add another layer of meat. Make it nice and evenly all the way around. And another layer of cheese. And we're going to go back with another layer of noodles. Go the other way with it now. Oopsies. Lots of noodles. Like I said, I really like lots of noodles in it. So now I've kept my cottage cheese with my 2 eggs and a little bit of pepper in it. We're going to make a nice layer of that in there. So I really like this part of the lasagna also. So I'm not going to go over that with cheese, but what I'm going to do now is I'm going to put some more noodles over top of that. Wow. And they're hot. Oh. Yeah, so with another layer of meat, so this will probably be my last layer of meat. And I'll tell you, it is hot in here. So, cooking off a wood stove is pretty cool. What I'm going to do is I'm just going to save a little bit of sauce for the final layer on top. And so now I'm just going to do a few more noodles here for my top layer. Whew. I'll cut these ones a little shorter. Wow. Should have let the noodles cool off a little bit more. See? Hot. If I find one more full one would be nice. Oh yeah. We'll cut that one down. Yeah, so my last little bit here of sauce I'm going to put on top. Get every last little bit. And then one last layer of cheese. Which I figure I just made enough cheese, so alright. I'll show you guys what my cake turned out looking like. And I'll be back in about 45 minutes because that's how long I'm going to cook this for and let it boil away. Well, I have been waiting a long time, about 45 minutes, an hour, and I've been turning the pot a lot. So, you know, the Dutch oven's working very well. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to show you what it looks like. So I'll probably let this cook for about another maybe 10 minutes or so. And I'm not going to have any, at least for an hour, maybe an hour and a half. So I'm really going to let it cool down and let everything solidify. Yeah, so my 3-cheese lasagna. Already, I hope everything turns out good. I'm gonna, like I said, cook it for about another 10 minutes. And I'll probably end up setting it outside and letting it cool right off, because I am getting kind of hungry. So yeah, stay tuned. I'll show you what it looks like later. Well, now what I've done is I've cooked it really good right till the end, so everything's really boiling hot, because what I want to make sure is that the cottage cheese with the egg, make sure it cooks like an egg. So that makes, part of the lasagna like really thick kind of thing. So anyways, what I'm going to do is I'm going to set it outside. So yeah, so right now what I'm going to do is I'm going to let it cool off. I'll just show you here. It's still kind of boiling away, but we'll keep the lid back on it. So what's going to happen, it's going to cool from the bottom up. And what I'm going to do is probably let it sit there for an hour, maybe an hour and a half. So a little bit of patience goes into this. And, all the patience actually makes perfect. So that's what I like about cooking. A lot of work goes into cooking, and it's all worth it. So stay tuned for more pictures or videos. Yeah, so a little bit of patience goes into cooking lasagna, the same as chili. The chili was a good one because you had to wait a fair bit for the beans to get soft enough to eat. So now the same thing about the lasagna. So now it's like a cooling process that you need to do to actually make things solidify in it. So you can actually get it out of the pot and cut it like a cake kind of thing. So that's why I called it cake lasagna earlier. It's because, like I say, this little process of letting it cool down does take about an hour and a half. So yeah, so I'd like to thank everybody for watching. That's kind of my idea with the lasagna, but I thought it looked really good in the Dutch oven. So hopefully everything turns out good. We're this far into the video, and I have still yet to cut into it, but like I said, I'm going to let it cool down a lot and then cut into it. So stay tuned, everybody. Well, everyone, I have done cooking my lasagna. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to cut a little piece out of it. And I'm going to show you how it turned out. Nice and right on. Hopefully not too bad. Well, everybody, it turns out that my lasagna turned out really well, so what I like to do, it's morning time, so I'm going to have some for breakfast. Yeah, so I'd like to thank everybody for watching me make lasagna, and it was very good. So good that I'm having it for breakfast. So, hey, thanks again for watching. Ciao for now.